Hi, I'm Madison Eldridge.
And I'm Zenith Wolfe.
In this episode, we meet 7 people who bring us behind the scenes of their passion projects, from a young Palestinian artist connecting with her culture through music,
to a woman who's heating things up with hot sauce here in Ottawa. Welcome to the 25th Hour.
Sabar is a DJ duo. They fuse traditional Palestinian songs with electronic music.
Lujane Doudia and Nicholas Lepage make up the duo. They connected this spring at the U Ottawa pro-Palestine encampment. They decided to combine their art and activism. Sabar performed for the first time at the Peak Art Festival in late September.
I think it's important for me to select tracks for my set that are reflective of the diversity of traditional Palestinian music. I then begin to almost play the song itself as an instrument. I kind of select them based on the atmosphere that Nick begins to frame with more ambient sounds and ambient music.
I see like my role is sort of trying to support what Lou is doing, so I think I'm trying a lot to like listen very deeply to the sound that she's bringing out.
I think the concept of the encampment itself served as an inspiration for this kind of creative journey that Nick and I are going on. It's pretty eerie being back here after the fact and seeing kind of what was torn down and ironically what has remained.
What I would say to people is like, well, like look within yourself. Like what is it about this space that makes you feel uncomfortable? You know, an encampment is by definition and by design meant to be contentious, and it's meant to be uncomfortable. Of course, they're radical spaces, but they were very much so not violent or militant in my experience. As I reflect on the performances, like maybe is like a way of us trying to reframe the perception of the encampment as like, again, is this like healing or positive or welcoming space. We have 5 minutes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
If you have something you want to finish on, just go for it.
Okay, so part of the growth I had to do as a young person navigating a deeply politicized identity is that it took a while for me to kind of build confidence in the ways that I express it. I think that the conversation on this identity sometimes feels like it's gone on without me in a way, and in this way I feel like I'm joining in but using my own kind of language that I feel more fluent in. I hope people have found a new way to appreciate Palestinian art and Palestinian music. I hope people were inspired to reflect on what's happening as they were listening. That they continue kind of this discovery journey with music.
Up next is a story about a romantic duo.
Chris Richard and Jen Tennant found love online.
One thing they agreed on right away, people in the lesbian plus community need more places to hang out.
So they created Lez Go. It's a Facebook group with more than 3,000 members. The group hosts meetups like picnics, movie nights, and billiards events.
So Lez Go is an events group for the lesbian plus community. Lesbian, bi, trans, non-binary, queer questioning. That's essentially our definition of it.
Julie's is very popular in that pool is kind of an unofficial lesbian sport. So we thought, let's do a billiards event, and it was instantly popular with our members. I think it's sold out a bunch of times that we've done it. You can't replace in person, really. I mean, with all the technology we have, I think a lot of people, might say that they feel more lonely than ever, in a sense, and we have all the tools to communicate. So we use the technology to bring people into our events.
A friend of mine started a group called Women Seeking Women. Each person was meant to submit a profile and a picture. And as soon as I saw Chris's picture and profile, I went, oh, I need to meet this woman. It wasn't too long after that we started talking, and it was during COVID, so it was such a unique time. We ended up talking for almost 3 weeks before we met in person. Come here. About 3 weeks into Chris and I chatting online, we decided to meet in person. Chris shows up to pick me up, and she looks like $1,000,000. Very beautiful. But she had a bouquet of flowers in one hand, and she had a little gift bag in the other. When I reach into the gift bag, it's a little stuffed animal for Vimy. And my heart melted, and that's when I knew she's a keeper.
We had those conversations online. I said to her, we should start something because there's nothing going on. There's not much going on. And she said, me too. I've always wanted to do that. Kind of just weird, accidental, random luck that she walked into my life. So, and then we created this group that, I don't know if we've mentioned it, but 3,300 members strong at this point and growing every day. The letters that we get from people, could bring us to tears sometimes. People really saying that, they don't have community, but because of Lez Go, they do now.
One of our members even went so far as to say that there's nothing like it in all of Canada. When you see a room full of queer women and you go in and you know that you're going to be accepted on the basis of your sexuality, it just feels very normal.
We have the Lookout, but it very much caters towards men, which is great. Glad for them that they have a dedicated space. It used to be Friday nights where women would have their night, and that is no longer. So as that space has evaporated, we see a great need. At the end of the day, it's all about community and building it here in Ottawa.
The internet is full of cute cat videos, but they don't tell the full story. The Ottawa Humane Society is a local animal shelter. It took in more than 3,000 cats last year.
Jackie Gauthier is pitching in with her own rescue. She uses Facebook to share how tough her work gets and why she keeps going.
it. Watch Benjamin Button. He'll probably come. Hi, my name is Jackie Gauthier. I'm an animal rescuer. Mostly cats, but I do rescue other animals. I do have a full-time job. This is just my passion and something that I believe in. So Speak Up for Paws is an organization that we came together, Sandy Lawson and I, of Adopt Me Cat Rescue, to mostly speak about the problem of the cat overpopulation of the cats, right? The spay-neuter, the fact that it's not affordable, so we just thought we would advocate for the cats.
This is the damage you're causing, okay? So don't wonder why I'm bitter and annoyed, because I'm the one stuck picking up after you guys. This is what your burn cat, or your not spayed cat, or your not neutered cat, or your whatever cat excuse you want to find. This is it. This is the damage that you guys cause.
Okay, everybody, let me squeeze in here. Look at that. There's the baby that we brought back from death. See his little eye? It's a girl, actually. So I'm gonna wash her again after. She was dead a couple days ago. There you go. Yeah, don't ask me how, but she made it, and yeah, she's with us now, and she's doing good, and we reunited everybody. We trapped the mom the next day, and now we have a happy family. She's like, no. Oh, there she's coming out. Hi, Jackie, my name is Nari. My friend Jennifer something recommend I contact you. It's hard for me to say no, and it's hard for me to turn my back on that. So, you know, sometimes I'll just sneak a little text message and organize things from my phone, but it is very hard to juggle it and try to balance everything out. But rescue fatigue is a thing, right? We see a lot of death. Just trying to keep the kitten alive a few days ago really wore me out. Now we're going to think about it, we're going to stress about it, but we didn't dump these cats. We did not dump these cats, and I can't stop thinking about it. I had a little cry actually in the car on my way back. That's the reality. That is what I live. This is what I am going through, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Sugarcoating it will not help the future cats. It's not going to help the situation, because if you lie, you don't tell the people the reality, they'll be like, there is no cat problem.
I barely fit here. I found them.
When you tell other people what you're going through, or that you cried over a cat that you only knew for an hour, they don't understand, right? They're like, bah, it's just a cat. It's supposed to be outside. So I try to find myself at the same type of people that, you know, in rescue, that also know what the suffering is like.
Okay, Evelyn, ready? Okay.
There. But I continue to do it because I feel like whether I save one or two or three, those lives matter. I was part of bringing them back to this world, or rescuing them and giving them a better life. Charlotte, there you go.
Setting up a better future for others often takes sacrifice. Quinn Linus quit his graduate studies and put his career on hold. He did it to help young adult competitors make money from track and field.
The Canadian Athletes Now Fund supports athletes who want to represent Canada on the world stage. According to the fund, 3 out of 5 of these athletes spend more money on their sport than they make from it.
Quinn started the Canadian Track and Field League to help change that.
I'm nervous before every single race, even if it doesn't matter. At the starting line, I'm just thinking, like, push hard the first 100 meters. When I'm going through a lot of struggles, like when I'm really hurting, you just think about, like, hey, like, think about how many hours you've trained for this. You've worked so hard. You only get like maybe 10 races in a year, so like you've worked so hard for this. Like you have to finish this. Like no matter what, you have to be done. I started it when I was in elementary school. My school always had a track and field day, so it was, I think, starting in grade like 3 or 4 was when I started doing it. I was good in high school. My goal was to make it to OFSA in my final year in grade 12. I made it to OFSA, made the finals, and then I was going to Ottawa, and that's kind of where the gap is, unless you're a professional athlete. So, but generally you only really hit your peak as an athlete when you're in your mid to late 20s. So there's like a good 3, 4, 5 years between the end of your collegiate career and the start of like your peak, which is generally when you're going to make a national team. So how do you keep people engaged? And that's kind of a symptom of now the CTFL.
The Canadian Track and Field League is the future of the sport, with top athletes from Canada and across the world competing for both individual and team glory.
So the CTFL was established in 2022. It's based off of Formula One, so I took a little bit of inspiration from Formula One, bringing an individual sport into the team atmosphere, which is very popular in North America. And basically, athletes accumulate points throughout the season, and at the end of the year, if they're in the top 3, they'll get prize money, and they also get prize money at the event. And if their team wins, they also get a little bit of prize money as well. So last year, we had about $26,000 in prize money. We are in my bed, also a bedroom, and we're also here where I do all the work and administrative work for the CTFL. Today I had a meeting with my videographer, so we go through our social media and kind of our packaging for the upcoming week, as well as kind of any overarching projects that we're working on.
Roll Bears. I have to cover up Milk Up Ontario. Roll Bears, Milk Up. As you know, the Bears CTFL team is sponsored by Milk Up Ontario, so I figured it was important to bring a little part of our sponsor with us.
Roll Bears, I'll see you next time.
We're now starting to grow in terms of our sponsorship levels. So we have Runner's Choice Waterloo and Milk Up, who sponsored individual teams last year, and that's a good way that we're raising revenue. But really it's just been through private funding like myself or through sponsorships. I obviously cover the cost of generally when we lose money. We'll lose like maybe a couple $1,000s. And really it's just my time. I haven't taken any salary for the last 3 years, and with a master's degree, I should be making a whole lot more, ideally. I've had to put like my entire life plan aside for this project to even maybe have a shot of working. I was supposed to do another master's degree in Austria for what I was really interested in, and then I created CTFL while I was doing my master's, and I was like, oh, people really like this idea, and it's growing, and this is something I want to do. So I dropped out of that second master's degree in order to do that. This specific drill is focusing on getting the hips going forward. I work a job with the Lions, and I mean, I get paid, but it's not anywhere near what I should be getting paid for, or what I was even offered to work at a full-time job. It's a lot of sacrifice in order to kind of make this a reality. Track community means everything, especially after starting the CTFL. So I have close to 300 athletes, and I know they're all super willing to sacrifice for the greater good of the track and field community. Yeah, the track community is the reason I do it. Yeah, for you, it's just like, I think you're still like kind of reaching a little bit, so. In Canada, it would be a huge detriment. I think if we lose it, it's just another blow to track and field, which is kind of already a beaten up sport with a lot of failed attempts like this. Okay, all done. You're welcome, guys. I tell the current athletes, you're doing this, one, because it's cool and it's fun, and you get to be some of the first athletes to ever be in this league. However, you're doing it for the next generation, which is these high schoolers that are currently being coached by me. These are the kids that are, if the CTFL is moderately successful, even moderately successful, is going to benefit them tremendously. I see it as like me trying to help that generation out and future generations.
It takes a lot of time and passion to start a new business.
Yeah, absolutely. And in our next story, we'll see how one woman in Ottawa spends months planning a hot sauce convention, even though she has a low spice tolerance.
Well, I don't like spicy, so I'm thinking I would never do any of these challenges.
Who do you picture when you think of someone who's really into hot sauce?
Maybe a guy who's trying to prove how tough he is?
Angela Thompson is challenging that stereotype. She's bringing more women into the world of fiery foods. Every year, Angela runs Heating Up the Capital. It's Ottawa's only hot sauce convention.
What a very distinct, different flavor.
Pain is temporary, brother. Pain is temporary.
And come on over to see me afterwards and I will write you your certificate. Everybody, big round of applause.
Well, I don't like spicy, so I'm thinking I would never do any of these challenges. You're not hurting as much as some others.
No, we were 2 of the last 3, and
I'm here to get drinks for the vendors.
Before COVID, we had gone to a hot sauce expo in London. That's where we met a lot of the makers, and we thought we should do one in Ottawa. We booked it originally for May 2020, and then the world shut down, so we ended up doing it eventually in September of 2021, and it was a huge success. It's kind of like having a baby. You know, you're growing the baby during the 6 months, and then the day comes, and the baby's arrived, and you're thinking, oh, you know what, I'm tired, I'm never doing this again. And then within a week or so, it's like, you know what, that wasn't so bad. I think we're going to do this again. How are you doing? Do you need another some Dayquil?
Yeah, probably. I've got these with me as well. So.
Okay, so those would work better, probably.
Well, the Dayquil is good for my throat.
Okay, yes, that's a really good idea. He asked me to marry him probably 60, 70, 80 times, and I wasn't sure I wanted to get married again. And then one day it's like, yes, let's get married. And that was 15 years ago. So Heiko, when he moved here, couldn't find any hot sauce that he liked. So there was Tabasco, Frank's, and Sriracha. So he started making it for himself because he loves to cook, and we grew a couple of peppers, and he just experimented. My favorite bit is doing the planting and the weeding in the springtime because I love being outdoors. If we were doing it ourselves, we'd be doing like 300 hours. So this cayenne has corking on it. The white lines doesn't mean it's bad, just means that it's spicier than the regular pepper. The inside grew faster than the outside, like stretch marks. I'd say in a week I would probably do 30, 40 hours doing anything to do with the hot sauce. He made a hot sauce called Heiko's Madame because it's the Madame Jeanette, his favorite pepper, and Heiko's Madame, his favorite wife. It's our medium. It's our medium. People think habanero is hot, so.
Medium.
Medium, yes.
Wow.
Medium.
Okay. Wow.
You don't need very much.
No, I guess not. Wow.
People call me Crumbs because I only eat the crumbs of the spicy food. Heiko and I belong to this global chili club that's called the Sons of Fire. And that's a big charity group of people eating spicy things for pain and pleasure. Parkinson's was the last time, and we raised $3,500 just by eating spicy ramen.
Oh. I'm burning up.
This is fun.
You better hurry up.
You think you do this?
Because I need to have some relief. There's tears coming out of my eyes right now.
Okay.
It's always the men. About 80% of the men, it's like, oh, yes, my husband, my grandson, my son-in-law that loves hot sauce. And it's the women that are buying it for them. I think women may be more open to listening to me than a guy that's saying, oh, this isn't spicy, you should try this. Where maybe they believe me more. This is cayenne and Madame Jeanette. Madame Jeanette's a very unique pepper.
I am going.
Yeah, use a toothpick. Use a toothpick because you don't want it on your fingers. Oh, I have a waiver as well. My mission in life is to get everybody to at least try a little bit of hot sauce.
Okay. Okay.
That's it for this episode of the 25th Hour. Thank you for joining us. I'm Zenith Wolfe.
And I'm Madison Eldridge. Thanks for watching.